all over the Gospels, we hear about a disease. The disease is called leprosy. These days, in modern medicine, it's called Hansen's disease. But leprosy is horrible. It's painful. It mutilates the body. It had to be an incredibly difficult cross to bear for these 10 lepers who encountered Jesus on the road. But they come to him, and as Jesus so often does, he heals them. He reaches out his hand, he touches them, he heals them. They had leprosy, and now they don't. One of them came back to say thank you. Those were choices made by the 10 lepers. They didn't make the choice to get leprosy. Nobody would do that. But they made the choice to go and find Jesus, to ask for his help. And then they had a choice of whether to show gratitude or not. Choices, right? All over our lives, every single day. Hundreds, maybe thousands of decisions that you and I have to make. In the course of these decisions, there are options. And so I was struck this week as I prayed with the reading, struck by the second reading today from St. Paul to Timothy. And there was one word that just kept jumping out over and over and over again. And the word is if. If. St. Paul writes, if we have died with him, we shall also live with him. If we persevere, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will deny us. If we are unfaithful, he remains faithful. That word if implies decisions to be made on our part. Now, for God, God is faithful. God cannot be unfaithful. But you and I, of course, can. We fall short in all kinds of ways. If implies a decision to be made. Now, I remember being in high school. I went to a big public high school right outside of Houston, Texas. And I remember one day in the hallway, another student walked up to me. And this young man said to me, just the two of us in the hallway, and he said, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? I was just going to the restroom. But we had this little encounter in the hallway. I was 15 years old. I didn't really know what to say. And so I said, yeah. Well, he found me later. We had a discussion, but I went and talked to my priest. And I said, what am I supposed to say? No one's ever asked me that. What do I say? And my priest said, a great young priest at my parish growing up, and he said, tell him next time he says, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? You say, yes, every Sunday when I receive the Eucharist. I wish I had that answer at the tip of my tongue. Right? But we make these choices, right? Every single day, every single Sunday, every single day of our lives, we have the option to choose Christ or not. We have the option. It's an if. Do we choose him or do we not? Do we choose to be grateful or not? Do we choose to be generous or not? Do we choose to see the good in others or not? Do we choose to see that people generally are acting in a spirit of goodwill or not? These are choices that you and I can make and have to make every single day. I'm reminded of a great line from Pope Benedict XVI. He used to preach often about how faith is a proposal. We think of that word when a man proposes to a woman in marriage. He asks her, "Will you marry me?" And she can say yes, or she can say no. But it's a proposal. A man would never walk up to the woman and say, "You will marry me." That's not love. And so what God does with each one of us is he invites us into a relationship. It's a proposal. Will you be my disciple? Will you follow me? Will you choose me? And you and I have the free will to say no. A lot of people do. But when we see this reading from St. Paul to Timothy, if we have died with him, we shall also live with him. If we are unfaithful, he remains faithful. God proposes to us, never imposing. That's, I think, a very important theological point to get straight in our heads and in our hearts. That God is not here to impose his love on us, but rather we are invited into a beautiful relationship. If we are unfaithful, or if we've been unfaithful, God's faithfulness continues on. God cannot be any other way than faithful. So my encouragement as we go out this week, right, there's choices to be made. Choices to be his disciple. Choices to pick up the crosses of our life. Choices to be grateful or to not be grateful for what God has given us. If we say yes, as I hope you do today, as you receive the Eucharist, as you pray at this Mass, if we say yes, our lives will never be the same. We're given the most beautiful gift, a relationship with the risen Christ, a proposal to you and me, never imposed. What is our response to the Lord wanting to be in relationship with us? It's our choice. I hope it's yes.